The Moto X has always been about customizable hardware and simple yet intuitive software, but in recent years the product line has faded away as Lenovo prioritized the modular Moto Z series instead. This year we finally have a new Moto X, and surprise, it's really good. First things first, the Moto X4 has beautiful hardware. It replaces the Moto X Pure Edition soft touch plastic backing with a high gloss glass panel that just looks and feels incredibly high end, especially when you remember that this phone is only $400. It's comfortable to hold, but it's definitely slippery, it's a fingerprint magnet, and the giant camera dome kind of gets in the way of my finger sometimes. The power and volume buttons are nice and clicky, and you get both USB-C and a headphone jack at the bottom, which is always good to see. Up front, there's no fancy 2x1 display, but that does make room for a fingerprint sensor near the bottom and even a selfie flash. Oh, and speaking of the display, it's actually great for the price. Viewing angles are outstanding, and there's no discoloration when tilted off axis. I have to say that I sorely miss Moto Maker though. While the super black and sterling blue color options are both beautiful, there's just no feeling like getting a phone that's completely made for you with the colors and build materials that you chose. With the Moto X4, that feeling is gone, and that honestly makes it hard for me to consider this a Moto X at all. On the flip side, no other Moto X has had this kind of build quality, and this is also the first phone in the series to tout some now essential features like IP68 water resistance and a fingerprint sensor, though maybe next year they can add wireless charging to the mix as well. On the software side of things, the Moto X4 lives up to its name with a close to stock build of Android 7.1.1. In fact, they've changed so little about the interface that aside from some Motorola icons, you probably wouldn't even notice the difference. Of course, Motorola does add its convenient Moto actions that past users will already be familiar with, including my favorite, the double twist gesture to launch the camera. They've added a few new actions to the mix as well, all of which make you wonder why Google hasn't baked this straight into stock Android yet. Now interestingly, the Moto X4 also comes with Amazon's Alexa voice assistant built in, but I wasn't able to try it for myself since apparently it isn't supported in my region yet. The Moto X4 is the first in the series to feature dual cameras on the back, pairing a 12 megapixel primary sensor with an 8 megapixel wide-angle lens for a 120 degree field of view. There's some neat tools for selective focus in the gallery that mostly work, but on the whole, the cameras are just pretty decent. Fine details are softer than I'd like, and the cameras are extremely slow, but they produce nice colors, the wide angle is fun, and the front lens takes some decent selfies. Battery life with the Moto X4's 3000 mAh battery is good, but doesn't live up to Motorola's claim of all-day longevity. On average, I saw 4 hours of screen on time with pretty casual use, including scrolling through social networks and watching a few YouTube videos, but once you fire up some intensive games, that number will go down pretty quickly. I still wish the Moto X4 had wireless charging, but it does feature Motorola's delightfully fast turbo power charging as a consolation prize. For just $400, the Moto X4 offers outstanding performance and build quality with decent enough cameras and good durability. If you don't mind lock screen ads, you can even save yourself $70 by buying it from Amazon Prime. Overall, I really enjoy the Moto X4, and while I wish there was still the option for Moto Maker, that doesn't stop it from being a great buy.